It Rains Love is the latest album from Lee Fields and the Expressions. It's a very classic soul album. This is very much in the vein of some modern day soul acts that take it back and do the classic soul sound like Raphael Sadiq. Definitely check out his 2008 album because that is very, very good. Also, Sharon Jones and the Dab Kings, who put out an amazing album in 2017. Charles Bradley, who passed away pretty recently. Acts like Michael Kiwanuka also. It's very much the kind of sound that I really like. I love it when artists of the modern day take it back to this sound and do it really well. There are some acts that attempt to do this and it kind of gets a little botched, or it just kind of sounds really obviously like a clear-cut throwback to that era without any unique elements, but sometimes I think it can sound really good, just like this new album here. It Rains Love is just brimming with positivity throughout, and I think my love for the Anderson .Paak album recently has kind of got me into listening to this album too, because it's just tickling that same spot, that soulful sound that's just so hard to deny. I mean, the album title is essentially just describing this album. This is just such a love-filled album. These songs are just so smooth and slick. On so many of these tracks, the singer here is just pouring his love into his girl. She is what is needed in his life. It is ridiculously romantic and over the top and gets really sappy at times, especially with some of the lyrics that pop through. Lines such as "You're my sun when the clouds roll through" and "You're my shining star." It's just very much in the vein of how people wrote their love songs back in the 70s. The good thing I can say though is that it never really sounds like an homage. It does sound like a very natural album. It's very free-flowing. The instrumentals and the production are just sublime all the way through. Two Faces probably has one of the best hooks on the entire album, and on this track he's talking about how this person is two-faced, but yet he only ever sees that one side to them that makes them seem this great person, but perhaps they're not that person that they're selling themselves to be. But yeah, some of the hooks across this album are just so fantastic and sing-alongy at times as well. And the singer here, Lee, has a great voice. He's very expressive, he's very emotive. It just works for this style of music, because if you don't have that kind of singer, like you know, someone who's just not got that personality, then these kind of songs often fall flat or completely fail. I would say the low point of this album though is just some instrumentals aren't really as crisp as others, or some tracks just don't interest me, especially in the middle section. Like, there are a couple of tracks that follow on from each other that just don't really do anything, or they just sound too familiar, or the band is basically doing what they've already done to a lesser degree. But God Is Real is the low point for me though, because this one just gets way too preachy. I mean, I'm not trying to deny the fact that some people have beliefs, obviously, that's totally fine, but I do feel like this can be done in a much better way without it sounding as really weak and flimsy as this. There's nothing really interesting being said here. The refrain gets repeated over and over. It just gets really boring and stale. Overall, this is a really good album. I can't quite say I love it though, because all the artists I mentioned at the beginning just have a certain sound quality to them that make me love their stuff just a little bit more than what I'm hearing here. And as I said, there is a bit of a lull in the middle of the albums where it just kind of drops off just a little bit. But the tunes are all friggin' there, and the performances are stellar. The first half of the album is fantastic. It is a little bit front-loaded just because of how good the first half is, but other than that, it's a really good album. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. Hope you check this out based on my recommendation. It's just a very cheery and summery and bright album that you should definitely check out if you're a big fan of soul music. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, or if you enjoyed it even more, let me know as well. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good day, and goodbye.